undo the two cables coming off the old one and literally just replace the whole thing. For once, Worcester have made something easy. I've just jinxed myself. Right, let's hope it is as easy as that. I think I've just created a new drink, a new cocktail. That's going to be every heating engineer's worst drink. Worcester column radiators. 2 parts Worcester, 1 part column radiator, or the other way around, however you want to do it. Put these two jobs together and you've got a cocktail that will make you sick. Because let's face it, fitting column radiators is not fun. Working on Worcesters is not fun. It's a challenge and I enjoy the challenge, but it's not fun working on them. So there we have it. That explains the intro and the title of this video. So I'll leave the rest to your imagination. However, something's happened to me today. So I'm recording this on Sunday night and my back is in absolute bits. I think I've just slept funny. I don't know what it is, but literally since this afternoon, the pain started on my lower left-hand side and then now it's sort of spread right across the bottom of my lower back. And I used to get this used to happen to me when I used to do deadlifts, but I haven't done deadlifts for years. And it's because I put my back out doing deadlifts years ago. I think I've slept funny last night because I was on night shift with Jessica and she wasn't sleeping well. And I think I probably slept in a bit of an awkward position and I'm paying the price for it now. But I'm hoping this will help me with my recovery. See that out there? That is my new chiller unit for my cold plunge. Because obviously the weather's getting a little bit warmer, the cold mains is not as cold anymore and neither is the water in the pod. Because when I started doing my cold plunges last summer, that's when I started it, the water was, I think it was like 15, 16 degrees and I was struggling to get it down. I was putting ice blocks in every night and it still wasn't going down. So put the bullet and bought myself a chiller unit. That's now currently sitting at 5.1 degrees. I've set it to 4 degrees, so hopefully by the morning it will be 4 degrees. And hopefully that will sort my back out as well. But yeah, it's in bits at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't stop me from going to work and getting on with my day, but needs must. If I got a rest, I got a rest because I'd rather not make it any worse, because if I do, I could be out for a lot more longer period of time. So got to take care of our bodies. But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoy this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys all soon. Well, I thought today was going to be a better day weather-wise, but it's not. We had decent weather yesterday and I thought it was a sign of things to come, but evidently not. However, this is a sign of good things. I'm going to take this as a good omen. I'm working in that house right there and I've got parking right outside. And the reason why I'm happy that I'm parked so close, well, we like that anyway, but I've got 2 column radiators to fit here. So at least when it comes to unloading the van, I can literally just go zoop, straight in there. And the first radiator I'm doing is in the hallway. Second one is up in the landing. You guys might remember this one from, well, I think I did it last year. I fitted a vertical triple column rad here. I was here for 6 hours because the walls were so crap. I had to resin every individual bracket and I had to wait for it to go off before I could actually hang the radiator. And then because it was moving location completely, I then had to lift up flooring and repipe it and stuff like that. These ones are going back in the same place. I will have to do a little bit of pipework adjustment, so there will be a little bit of flooring coming up. I think for the landing one, sorry, the hallway one here, I can get to the pipework from the cellar below, they said, which would make things a little bit easier. Upstairs there's floorboards. They're horizontal rads this time, not column radiators, and they're going back in the same location. And I think the customer said that they're slightly smaller than the old radiators that were there. So I already came here, I think last week or week before, and removed the old panel radiators or the convector rads. And now we're going to go and fit in some column rads. So I'm gonna get everything inside. It's obviously wet and windy today. Well, it's wet, and then we'll get started inside. Okay, this is where one of the radiators is gonna go. So it's one just in the hallway. I've got another one going upstairs in the landing. These are the two rads. So this big one's going down here, smaller one's going upstairs. Now, this is where, obviously we've got this tile floor. I've just had a chat with the customer and they don't want to make any more holes in the tiles, which works for me as well because I don't really want to damage these tiles either. So what they're happy for me to do is hang it to one of the valves and then the other one will cut the pipework and adjust it. We've got plate in both sides of the pipework. What I'm going to do, obviously take that off, one of them, drain it all out, and I'm also going to change the washer in this drain off as well. I mean, I could just probably just use that to drain the system out, but I'm not going to drain the whole system. I'm going to go up to the loft, isolate the flame returns from the boiler, so that way they can still use hot water while I'm still working here. Firstly, get the pressure drained off, unbox that, find my markings. I mean, I'm hoping, see that again, there's spots where it feels like it's not so solid, and then there's spots where it feels like it is solid. So I'm not sure. Once I start drilling into the wall, then I'll know. But luckily, because they're smaller rads, they're going to be lighter. So I'm hoping that the Fisher plugs that I've got will be sufficient. If not, I've got resin, I've got core fix screws, I've got long screws, whatever we need to do. It will get done one way or the other, but it's just, hopefully, it will be done a little bit more easier this time around. Let's crack on. Okay, job one is done. Pressure's off the system and change the drain off washer. That's all good. Now I can start getting the rad hung on the wall. Now normally what I tend to do is I use the skirting as a baseline to put the bottom brackets, and luckily we've got the nice hook type ones as well. However, if you remember, I had the same issue upstairs where the windows, the skirting is not quite level, so it's slightly off, which means I'm going to have to, this side, I'm going to have to raise it up a touch to make sure that the radiator is level. So it looks like, yeah, it's falling down that way a little bit. So I'll be able to put the left hand side, I'll put on the skirting, and the right hand side will be a few mil up. I've just got to measure up the width of this radiator because it is slightly shorter than the old one that was here, and we're going to be keeping the same valves. So I need to wind the tails out the old radiator and then wind them into this one because they've got the Tardell system here, so they want to keep to the same valves. So I'm just going to do my measurements here, find out where to fit the radiator. Because I'm going to be adjusting the pipework, I'm just going to pick one side that I'm going to pipe it up to, and then the other side I'll adjust the pipework to bring it into the rad. So I've had to think about it, how I'm going to position the rad, and rather than doing it to one side of the valve and then having the other side coming up, I think that's going to look silly. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to position the radiator center of both pipes and then bring both sides in like that. So at least it gives a bit of symmetry, and it will look better than just being fit to one side and you've got random pipe coming out the other side. At least this way you've got both coming from each side. So that's my center mark, and I'm going down the route of imperial measurements today because I'm counting across the columns. I'm taking the third column in for the brackets on each column, and it's 30 inches, nice round number. So 15 inches either side, put my markings there, get the laser up, get one down there, and then obviously I'm going to use my spirit level. I might actually have to get a longer spirit level out because I'm going to make sure that obviously the brackets are going to be level as well, because they're going to have to be slightly above. So let me set you guys up on a time lapse, and then yeah, you see me hanging the rad. Okay, so the walls weren't great, but I've had better luck on these ones than I had upstairs. So they are solid now, And luckily it's only a double column rad, it's not a triple column rad, so it's not going to be as heavy. I'm now going to hang it on, make sure it's nice and level. Once I know it's level, I'll just get rid of all this dust from here, take it back off. I've got to unwind the tails from the old one, rewind them into this one, and then I can sort out the pipework. Right, let's bring this radiator in. The good thing about this rad is that there's no inlet or outlet orientation. It can go either way. All it says is as long as the bleed points are at the top, that's all they want. So there's no baffles or anything inside these, which I'm very happy with. Okay, good. That's nice and solid. The main thing now we need to check. We're nice and level. Happy days. Cool. So now I can unwind the tails from the old one, wind them into this one, and then we're using the same valves. I will get new nuts and olives for the pipes at the bottom, and then yeah, just pipe it in. Right, just had some lunch. Now I'm going to start piping up this side. Notice that's spinning there, which makes me a little bit nervous. So let's go and have a look in the setter. I'm hoping we've got a bit of poly, plastic, because this was the original plan to try and bring them up from here, but because of the tiles we don't want to break them. Good, that's why we've got spinning on the pipework. Alright, that's fine. That gives me a little bit more confidence and reassurance that there's not going to be a leaky joint. Right, turn that off. I will pipe this one up first and then move that over and then pipe that one up after. Alright, there we go. And that's the first one done and piped up. So done a little elbow, street elbow that side, elbow, street elbow that side, and that's all nice, solid, pressed in. Love press. Now let's go upstairs and, oh yeah, the radiator's already taken off upstairs. So I'm going to take that small one up there, roll the carpet back, see what we need to do with the floorboards, and then go from there. Okay, that's handy. It looks like some of these boards have already been taken up, so I may only need to do some minor adjustments. Let's see where this board goes. How far back? It goes pretty far back, so I may, oh look, there's a screw there, so this one I think has been lifted up before. The problem is I don't want to take up all this carpet because I only need to work on a little bit, so I might just put a cut there because there's a joist there. I'll take this off first. I'll take that one off so I can see what's going with the pipe work. But you know what, before I do all that, let me bring the radiator upstairs, let me hang it up here so I know exactly where it's going to go, and then do all the rest. Don't overthink it, chigs. Just step by step. Now this radiator is considerably smaller than what the old one was, and this side the pipe work's a little bit more tricky to get to, so I'm going to be piping up to this side, and then this side I'll bring it over and up because I've got a bit more room to play with here. So I just want to find where my brackets are going to go. Normally when it's a standard radiator it's a little bit easier to get your measurements and everything, but in this case slightly more trickier because it's a column rad. So what I've done, I've connected onto that nut there, and then I've just put a mark on the skirting there and on the skirting there where these brackets are going to go. So now I can disconnect that, I can put my brackets there, hang this on there, get the top brackets on, and then I can start messing with the pipework there because we've got flow and returns going through there. So I've got to make sure I don't, well, I do need to cut this board, but I need to make sure I obviously don't cut the pipes. So I'm going to get the radiator hung now. Hopefully the walls are not too bad, and then I can sort out the pipework. I've just been taking up a little bit more of the floorboards, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this T out and put a slip coupling here, or maybe normal coupling, because I'm going to then put a T in here. If I've got any, I don't think there's any play on the pipework, so I probably will have to use a slip coupling there, and then cut a T in here and basically do the same that what's done here, but do it here, going to this valve. That side's lined up, I just got to cut that, bring it up, put coupling there, and then put that onto there. And then this one, I'll do it from here. The reason I cut this board up is because I need to be able to get the press gun in, and also I need to be able to get to this pipe. I was hoping it was that pipe that was teed off, because that would make life a little bit easier, but it's not, which is fine. It just means I've got to go down, round, and then up. I don't know why I didn't film this, because do you know what it is? I find breakdowns easier to film, because it's like I know what's coming in the process, so it's like I know this is gonna make good content. But when it comes to pipe work and radiators, I start doing it and I'm like, I should have filmed this, because it would have made maybe some good content. But hey ho, what I've done, there was a, I can't remember if I showed it last time, but yeah, there was a T here coming up there with the valve, so I cut all that out. I was actually going to try and reuse that bend, but it was too short, so I just cut it all out, put a slip coupling there, basically just mimic that T with the street elbow going straight into there, so that everything's been pressed in. Press is a game changer, because water in the pipes, now look, I'm not saying that everyone should have one, because I know it's expensive, but if you can afford one, it's definitely an investment for your business. Because stuff like this, if I had to solder this, I probably wouldn't have been able to solder it, or I would have had to drain the full heating system down in order to be able to solder it. But luckily, with a little bit of water in the pipes, it's not a problem. You can press away. And angle jaws as well, absolute game changer, especially to get that pressed there. I slid the press gun underneath here, put the angle jaws facing down, and then boom, on there. So that's all done. I have a little tidy up. I'm going to pressurize the system, turn it on, test it all, make sure we're all good. And if we are, we're out of here. And then I've got a Worcester high flow to change the condense pump on it. It's like I was never here. Almost. Most importantly, it's nice and hot. I just started tidying up, but I have the heating on, so I thought let me just double check. And that one as well. Nice and hot. And the one that almost made me give up my career. Hey, look, it's nice and hot. Happy days. Right, I'm going to finish tidying up and then get out of here. Right, so you guys might remember this one from, I was here last week and that condense pump was not working properly. As you can see from the towel, it's still been leaking, but luckily I've got the new nozzle for it and I've got a new condense pump. Let's just get this open. And to take that out is actually a lot more straightforward than I initially thought. So yeah, oh, it's still sealed anyway. So let me get this all opened up and then we'll get it swapped out. So to get this condense pump out, it's actually really easy. Once you swing the vessel out the way, you can see where it is. It's just here. And all you've got to do is quarter turn that. See, that's kind of, actually, do you know what I'm going to do? Because when you turn it on, it does pump it out. So I'm going to turn the boiler on. There you go. Just get it to pump out whatever is in there. And once it's done that, I'll turn the boiler back off again. Quarter turn. Twist off. I mean, it gives you the instructions there anyway. So pop that out like so for the time being, and just move this out of the way. And then back here you've got a siphon which goes into it. And the boiler has been running, so flow pipe is a bit hot, which is, yeah, that one is very hot. Alright, undo the little siphon nozzle, and then this literally, let's do it like this. Take the top off first, and that literally just lifts out. It's obviously got some water in it, so we want to try to get it out. It's the siphon which gets caught on the back there, but other than that, slide it, lift it over all this pipe work. And there we go. That's the condense pump out. It's got the two cables attached in there. It's got the two cables attached in there. So we just got to follow these back into the PCB, disconnect it from the PCB, plug that in, and then test it. So this is quite handy. the cables, they already come with, well, I don't know what we call the cable clamps. That's what I was trying to get at. It already comes with the cable clamps and the little connectors. So I don't actually have to do anything. I literally just take that out. I'm assuming that and that will just undo the two cables coming off the old one and literally just replace the whole thing. For once, Worcester have made something easy. I've just jinxed myself. Right, let's hope it is as easy as that. Right, I would like to say that green light means good, but the old one had green lights on it as well. So that it's all fitted, it's all on. I'm going to go outside, I'm going to pour some water down the flue, and I'm going to see if it pumps out. I'll take you with me. Right, yeah, go for it. Right, customer's going to be pouring water into there, and I'm going to be checking to make sure that it's pumping, not spilling out of there. Yep, that's doing something. That is looking like it's pumping. I think that's worked.
Yeah, it's coming out.
It's coming out the overflow, yeah?
I just heard it anyway.
Yeah, I saw it inside as well.
Good man.
Lovely stuff.
Hey, well done.
Job done. Happy days.
I'm so pleased. Thank you.
I'm sure you are. Right, that's that job done. Let's go on to the next one.